Okay, let's move on to the last roundtable that is devoted to the topic of the last day of our Be Travel on Life, and that is hospitality. Lara Fantoni will be coordinating. So the different sides of hospitality. Now, the guests are Charlie MacGregor from the Student Hotel, Oliver Winter, founder and CEO of A&O Hostels. So we will have hotels for students, hostels, and then we're going to hear by Giovanna Manzi, CEO of Best Western Hotel Group. Welcome. Thank you, Andrea. We are very curious to hear from you. Good afternoon.
To everybody, and also to the people who are following us online. I must add one thing to what Andrea said. I worked for the hospitality section of the BTO program, but I wasn't the only one, of course. BTO is a group work, and especially the merit for this panel is not mine, but is to be shared with the other members of the scientific coordination group, especially Giulia Remita. So thank you, Giulia, and thank everybody else for the help.
Solo un secondo perché non ho detto solo questa cosa un po'.
I would like to interrupt for a second because also Giovanna Manzi didn't pay for her Wi-Fi connection, and so she's not connected right now. Let's try now, jokes aside, let's try and see whether we can connect with her.
Discussion with Charlie MacGregor, with Giovanna Manzi, that we hope will join us in a few seconds, and with Oliver Winter, around three questions. Three questions that we discussed together and that will be answered by our guests in rounds, which means that I will pose one question and they will all answer. Then I'll pose the second question and they will all answer. And then the third one. It's not a discussion, it's a way of seeing things and of tackling the problems that we had over the past 2 years in hospitality, in tourism, and especially in hospitality. When we put together this panel, and I'm trying to gain time to have Giovanna with us, we thought that we would love to have the traditional hotelery, hotels, and then different forms of hospitality that have grown and flourished over the past years. Do we have Giovanna? I would like to wait for her before going ahead. But anyway, before tackling the questions, one question to our guests in presence. How did you find Florence? Was it your first time after the pandemics, Charlie, visiting Florence, or had you already been here over the past few months?
Yes, thank you for inviting me here. Yes, I've been here a few times, nowhere near as much as before. But as many of you know, I think we have one open hotel here in Florence, and we're building quite a large hotel as well. So. And then we're looking at another option. So I think I've been here for those projects and also really to support the team. Italy was really badly affected with the corona pandemic, especially in the beginning. And with the very strict lockdown that you guys had, we noticed that our hotel teams were really under a lot of emotional and physical pressure, dealing with a lot of customers, our long-stay customers who were really isolated in the building. So yeah, we came here to support them, but of course with travel it's been very difficult, so it's nice to be back.
Good. And how about you, Oliver? Had you ever been to Florence before? Yes, of course.
Yes, yeah. And first of all, even thank you for inviting me here, and I'm very impressed to be in this building and this wonderful location and hall here. I was in Florence many times before, and same as with student hotels. We are proud to develop here in place, and we are in development, and hopefully when we open in, let's say, 18 months from now, then more reasons to come more often to Florence.
Good, good. Well, I'd say that maybe we'll change the round and we'll start with our questions, because I know that we don't have a lot of time, and the program is supposed to end at a certain time. So I'll start with the first question, and then we'll catch up with Giovanna later. Charlie, innovation in pandemic for a seamless future. What changes did you experience successfully in hospitality over the pandemics? And which of them are you carrying with you in the future?
Good question. So I think what we experienced as a company during the pandemic was really an acceptance of the model that we started 10 years ago. So we call it hybrid hospitality. What that means for us is that we have long stay guests, we have short stay guests, we have co-working, we have meeting and event space, and we really welcome the locals into our buildings. That brings a level of complexity to your model as a hospitality company, of course. But what we saw during the pandemic was that the diversified top line was really a lifesaver for us. We all saw, of course, hotel travel fell off a cliff. I mean, there was absolutely no hotel bookings and no revenue at all. But our long stay guests really benefited from the common spaces we had, the space that we had. So they really stayed in our building. It was safer there. It was better for wellness. In fact, in Holland, we've just won an award for being one of the best places for mental well-being during the pandemic, because there was so much space and so much community activities. So the diversified top line for us has really been is being accepted by the industry. We now see big brands really trying to explore opening co-working in their buildings or long stay in their buildings, and we think we're way ahead of the curve. When you look at that staying, and I think coming back to technology and to seamless and frictionless environment, technology is key. There is really only one property management system operator or platform out there at the moment that enables these different types of clients to stay for one hour or 1 year and travel through your property in a very seamless way. And of course, we've had to embrace this. We've really been pioneering this type of property management system, and we're absolutely convinced this is here to stay. Of course, as most companies, we really took a forced pause during the crisis. We've really looked at, is community the way forward? Do people want to be meeting together? And how does that see us going forward? And we've been able to prove the hybrid models there. We've really been able to invest in the technology. We've really been able to make sure that the seamless journey is coming into the customer's hand, enabling them to stay in the building as a co-worker, as a student, as a long stay guest, as a tourist, and really enjoy their stay and contribute and take out of the community as well. So for us, the hybrid model has really been validated and is definitely here to stay, and that's what we take out of this crisis.
Thank you, Charlie.
Solo un secondo per dirti che abbiamo...
I just would like to inform you that Giovanna Manzi is online, so please welcome her. Welcome, Giovanna.
You arrive at the perfect moment, because we had just started with the first question with Charlie MacGregor, and you are the next to answer, but I'll pose the question to you again. Innovation in pandemic for a seamless future. What changes did you experience successfully in your hotel chain in hospitality, and which of them are you thinking of taking with you in the future?
I'm very much in agreement with what I have just heard about technology. I think the most important legacy we had from the pandemic is this technology acceleration that we experienced during this past 20 months. On top of this, I would like to add two comments. First is that all the customers in general welcome all the features that we have developed during this moment, this very difficult moment, despite any consideration of the ages. So means that we didn't face problem with customer in any ages on regard this innovation and technology features that we have developed. This is very important. And moreover, there is point when we verified the Net Promoter Score of customers that interacted with technology, this Net Promoter Score was and is 50% higher compared to customers that didn't interact with technology. Technology is a tool for sure, but it's something that improves the customer relationship. And this is very important, but we can't come to the conclusion that there is a complete, overlap, a complete substitution for technology towards the human relation, the human being. It's not this. It's the combination of the two, because technology free time to the hotel staff that can dedicate, give value, relationship to the human connection with the guest. So the combination of technology that streamline the process together with the human touch, this is the combination of the success of this new hotel business that we are designing today after this pandemic. So this is a point on technology that I would like to make on this regards.
Thank you, Giovanna. And now I turn the question to Oliver.
Yes. First of all, I like your movies, yeah, your videos, and as a German, I have to make it a little bit more boring. I have just a presentation.
Don't say that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's not true.
Yeah. Very quick who we are. So I know numbers. 21 years ago, I founded this company. In the last normal year, we served 5 million overnights, and our key target group are customers 15 years to 39 years. So that's maybe quite similar to Charlie's audience. 35 to 40% are student groups. And what we are not doing, so difference is we have no focus to long stay, but we also define us as a hybrid, combining hotel and hostel both under one roof. Here's short the map. You see Florence is on the map, so we are coming. And then the different room types we have. And I come later to the sustainable stuff. First of all, now to come to your question. So in the old normal, the drivers and the headwind, in 19. So what was our focus all the time was price and availability, and we see us as price or cost leaders to give people easy, cheap travel options and opportunities. And then the last 2 years changed everything, and our customers are faced to a lot of concerns, and I would take out 3 major concerns. One is the fear of infection, of course. What we all, I think, answered in a similar way, that we brought hygiene concepts in place. We hired a hygiene officer. We tried to digitalize all the customer chain so that the customers can, if they like, can avoid personal contact, so mobile key, mobile check-in, check-in kiosk, all this stuff. The second is the fear of losing money, and this is something what is most mentioned by our clients when we ask them why you are not booking now. Yeah, what is the hassle you have in your mind, and this fear of getting another voucher, yeah, you don't need, yeah, and put in your box with the other collected vouchers over the last 18 months. So and this we answer with radical, or dramatically we made it easier to book, and you have nothing to pay in advance. Even our group business, what is long time booked in advance, is you can now cancel anytime up to arrival, can be fully refunded, all this stuff. So, and this is, for example, something what I think that will even remain after crisis. Yeah, I think that if a customer learns that something can be easier and more comfortable, it will. If the toothpaste is out of the tube, it stays out. Yeah, and so this is another point. And the third one is confusion. And the confusion. Customers are faced to, or are totally confused in these days, even if it's allowed and there are no restrictions like in nowadays. They have tons of questions. I come from A, I like to travel to B, I'm vaccinated, but my kids are not, etc., etc. So, and for example, last month, we developed a few months ago and introduced a chatbot. And last month we answered 70,000 chatbot requests about Corona, just digital. Yeah, and this is helping us, even supporting our teams. And we have to handle a lot and provide a lot more of information, transparency, etc.
Thank you, Oliver. Yes, I must say that I agree. Tech and human touch and the possibility of being detached, having less confusion, having your own spaces, I hope they are here to stay, and we will find them again. Okay, second question. New generations in travel. Which trends and which new sensitivities do you sense and are you registering these days and for the future? Charlie.
Yeah, I get really excited about this question. So you have to.
It's my favorite as well.
Where's the bell? This is the first time in our history that we have the millennials and the Generation Z are spending more time and more money traveling than any other generation, which is a big moment. The big brands that we've been grown up against that kind of been laughing a little bit at our models, with their loyalty programs. A lot of their clients are staying at home. And the question is, will they start traveling again? I really don't think so. I think that the new generations are here to really claim their space as the biggest spenders and the biggest travelers from now on. And I think when you start looking at this generation, sustainability becomes absolutely critical, but not just getting rid of the plastic straws, but really ESG in a proper way, making sure that you're adding value to their journey, their purpose, and their existence in life. And when you start looking at the way they're traveling traveling for longer. So, and again, when you start bringing this into what I call the sort of new generation corporate traveler, the digital nomads, people working in Florence for a month, etc., while they're doing a freelance project and getting to know the city, getting to interact with the locals, it becomes really interesting. And especially when you've got a city like Florence, but like Venice, like Barcelona, Amsterdam as well, that are really having a problem with some type of tourism. Here in Florence with the day trippers. And what I think is there's a really interesting opportunity for cities to embrace this new generation. And we call it purpose-driven tourism, where people are really coming and traveling, which they're doing already, to places like the TSH. And they're spending weeks on end getting to know the co-working community, getting to know the locals, getting to be part of the fabric, getting to spread their their freelance project and pick up another project, etc., and really adding to the fabric of the local city. So for me, this generation are massive disruptors, and we're only just starting to see the benefits that they can bring to the city. But as we come out of COVID, it's really time for us to understand there's many different types of tourism. Some tourism we don't want, and some tourism we really do want. And this generation, I think, are really going to be adding value to cities.
Yeah, and I think this is a very important for, as you said, for cities like Florence. Giovanna, it's up to you.
Yes, I'm again in agreement, and I find this new generation very exciting in terms of what they need, what they prefer. Even if you ask me what was your need when you were young, probably now my attitude, my behavior, my habits are completely different. So I'm not sure that this kind of needs and habits will last in the future. But in any case, today, for sure, they are driving and they are forcing and pushing us to innovate the product. They need different spaces. They need contamination. I know that this word is not it's not nice today, but contamination of ideas, contamination of people sharing, and also in terms of spaces, adaptable spaces, for instance, everything should not have a fixed destination in terms of space, of usage of the space. But let me also take the opportunity of this stage to launch our future next panel on Tuesday, when we are going to talk about brand activism. I think the sustainability footprint is something that is very important for this new generation, and it's important for brand. And in the panel, we will talk about this, the importance of, for a brand to embrace a cause, to embrace a topic, an issue, even regardless the fact that this topic is not related to the business itself. So for them, this is very important. It's like staying at the hotel. It's part of my life, because all the things, all the details that MacGregor gave, and I would like to be part of a project, part of something, and this something is the need for a brand to take a position, to take an opinion, and to embrace these causes. So this is, I think, the most important part for a new generation. And I would also say that it's important for, at the end of the day, for everybody. So not reducing the stay in a hotel, only sleep and having breakfast, but to be part of something that is higher, that is bigger, that is greater than us.
Thank you, Giovanna. Thank you very much. And now, Oliver's turn.
Yeah, same with us. Despite from cost sensitivity, so pricing, that still I think remain king or one of the main drivers for decision. It's sustainability awareness. Yeah, and especially for us, our customers are 15 years younger than from a Premier Inn or Marriott or whatever. So we have to be ahead of the cycle, and this is something we. Let me try if I can go back to the sustainability charts there. So already today we are the lowest emission student accommodation. What we figured out is, or to give you a number, 25 kilogram carbon output per overnight is the average in an economies scale hotel. Yeah? And the use or the footprint at A&O is already today below 6 kilogram. And our aim and our biggest pledge to our customers is that we decided to bring this down to around 3 kilogram by our own efforts, until over the next 2.5 years or 3 years. and the rest then from 2025 we will offset mandatory. What means from 2025 we will operate net zero as company, and I think this is really necessary. During the pandemic, what we could already saw or monitor is how quick in a society you have something like, I call it travel shame, yeah? That if we all be called to stay home, yeah, it felt wrong if you traveled, yeah, and some people traveled, but they did it silent and didn't told anyone that they traveled, and you see how quick a society can develop something like travel shame, yeah. And my biggest fear is for our industry, if we don't find the right answers, yeah, and the right products, that the next generation will then avoid to travel, yeah. So that's why it's really a need, yeah. We have to deliver products. With lowest possible footprint.
Thank you, Oliver. Now, I'm seeing that we are running out of time, but we have our last question. So I'll beg our guests to be as short as possible, but I think that the last question is as interesting as the other two. Diversity and inclusion in leadership. All our three guests, Charlie, Giovanna, and Oliver, are leaders. They had created enterprises, they made enterprises flourish, and they have their own style. What is your experience, and especially having to do with diversity and inclusion, of course?
Yeah, diversity and inclusion, massively important. A big thing for most companies, I hope, but especially for us as TSH. I have a real personal story. We restructured the executive board at TSH during the pandemic, and we made it a team of 4. And one of those persons was keen to move on, so we decided we wanted to have a female in the position. So we made a nice profile, of course, and we went to the market and we hired a nice headhunter, and we really tried to find a female. And I was really shocked, and I realized as a white middle-aged man that I'm in really a position where I can make a difference and change this from now on, because I was really shocked. It was really difficult to get some good CVs, and the headhunter was knocking on our door all the time saying, if you let guys come in, there's loads of guys' CVs here, and we really had to hold firm many times not to go down that route, because we wanted to have a female quality. And females have so much skills. I mean, they don't pick up the phone to the headhunters like all the guys, you know. They're very loyal. They add such a different, beautiful quality, and we really wanted to do this, but it's really difficult. And I really urge companies to do this. We've now got a fantastic lady on board as our executive board, and it is really worthwhile, but it is really difficult. And I think we as companies, you have a quality which I think is becoming acceptable, but to really give equity and really help ladies or other diverse communities get that stepping stone they need to get into positions is something that we should really take seriously as an industry.
Thank you, Charlie. Giovanna, your...
Since I have understood that there is no more time, I just would like to mention our project that we launched 3 years ago about inclusive hotel, that enable hotels to and support hotels in order to welcome people with autism syndrome. And it was probably the best project we had, and we are working on this very much together with all the hotel staff. From my personal point of view, I try to exercise a very authentic leadership. It's what you see, what you get. And for me, all this kind of topic related to diversity, inclusion are very important for my personality, for my belief, and I tried to put all this trust in this project, and we are very proud about. And also because hotels responded very well to this kind of challenge. So we are very
Thank you, Giovanna. And now, Oliver, say.
Yeah, so I guess generally with our industry we have this advantage that we are very attractive for female workers, yeah. And if you look to the entire workforce, I guess at A&O we have around 55% female workers, employees. To be quite frank, with executive manage, we have to say it polite challenges, yeah. So because there we have. By gender, we have a big gap, but we did a good development over the last years with our heads. So on head level, we are very proud now. 70% of our GMs, for example, are female, and 50% in total of all our head positions are female today. So we are on the right way. There's still a lot to do. I think what we don't have to highlight, because in our industry, it's anyway we have. We have 55 nations working in the A&O workforce. And anyway, sex, religion, all this stuff. That I think there should be not any chain or company in the travel industry where this should matter. Yeah. So of course, and hopefully we are all open-minded. And I think what we can do to force it and even to get benefit out of it is to create and build up more purpose, to be more attractive, to make the entrance hurdles lower. For example, we started last year with anonymous application processes. Yeah, so that you can apply for jobs without your name, without any picture, and creating good working environment, to really that the people stick and glue in the company and develop inside the company.
Thank you, Oliver. So our time is up, but we won't finish before saying that the issues that were discussed now and many others will be discussed on the 30th of November for Hospitality Day. Quindi I temi che sono emersi oggi, ma anche molti altri fanno parte del...
So the issues we discussed today will be part of our Hospitality Day on the 30th.
If if the industry had a look over tourism and hospitality accommodation as our guests have shown us. So thank you, Charlie, Giovanna, and Oliver, and thank you for your time and your dedication and your passion in what you do. Thank you very much.
Grazie a Lara Fantoni, Charlie.
We thank Lara Fantoni, Oliver Winter, and Charlie MacGregor, and Giovanna Manzi. So we'll see you on the 30th for this last day. Thank you. Now, I would like to call the Scientific Director, Francesco Tapinassi, here on stage with me, because we have to call someone important. We have to call Antonio Preiti, who's an expert in the field of tourism. Welcome, Antonio. We carried out together a research activity on the future of business travel. We didn't interrogate congress centers or fair institutions. We asked companies. So this research was on 2,500 companies all over the country, not just touristic companies, companies of any possible kind and of any part of Italy. So we have a good overview of the situation. It's important to hear what companies have to do, what companies think about business travel. People who stay in hotels know that business trips are very important. They account for 30 or 40% of tourism sometimes. So we wanted to know what changes now for meeting and conferences. We've measured the drop in demand in 2020 and 2021. I won't go into detail now because on the 30th at 5 p.m. we're going to talk about this report. And I just would like to say that the drop was huge because the conferences were forbidden by law in Italy, and so there was not much we could do about it. What we wanted to do was to understand how the world is changing. And then we were interested in training. So mobility for training, travels for training are in a significant amount. So I don't know whether we want to disclose something. So this frictionless wave, so to say, so this frictionless wave is already here in the business tourism sector. So we asked companies about 2022, that is when we hope the epidemic will be at least within acceptable limitations or levels. What about business trips in 2022? And we've discovered that things have already changed. If we ask them, do you think conferences will still be essential? We asked them, will you send people to congresses, conferences? Will you organize conferences? Will you participate? So we asked for their behavior. And we discovered that the answer is not yes nor no. There's a lot of gray area. There are not many people who say no, conferences are over, working meetings are over, because it's the same if you go online. Really few people say this. But we need to understand what's the change. We are in a different kind of universe, a kind of a meta-universe in a way. If we meet face-to-face, what does that mean today? What did it used to mean up until 2019? It was something that we took for granted over there. If I told someone, let's do a video call rather than meeting, they would consider it rude. Nowadays, it's not so anymore. So why do we meet in person if it's not rude anymore? So we need to understand what is the meaning of meeting online and of meeting in person, face-to-face. So we need to know the meaning of all these shades, of these differences. We will probably see conferences that will be hybrid conferences. So we will physically go there, organize them with less people maybe. But then we'll talk about this on the 30th. I don't want to reveal too many things today. This BTO is the first attempt to answer about this future. We wanted to, that's why we organized the day as it was, because we wanted to give a practical answer. I wasn't here, unfortunately, this morning, but I was able to follow online. And so when they ask me, were you at BTO? Well, my answer would be, yes, I was there because I saw the streaming. Now I'm here physically as well. But this way, you've proven that it's possible and that the world is changing. But this is not enough. I heard very interesting things this morning about this mix of virtual and real. It's important to understand that in tourism, what is real, the emotion of people, is something different. The bell is ringing. That means we don't have time anymore. This is not a virtual bell. It's a real bell ringing, saying that time is up. Okay, so I'll see you on the 30th. Thank you. Thank you, Antonio. So on the 30th, we'll hear about the result of your research. Thank you. Antonio Preiti.